even though they okay, so from what I said, is basically if you want to try out better or even more fancy layout, right? What you can do is you can refer to templates online, but some of them might not come with a step-by-step a how-to lah, a how to do certain layout. So what you can do is you look at what they have done, and then you try to replicate it on your own website. It might be hard lah, but if you understand most of the features, right, you should be able to somewhat create a replica of, even if your replica is not perfect, you will look like at least 80% or 90% similar to the professional web builders one. Because the feature they use cannot be too far off from yours, because both of you are using the same exact builder. Unless they're using another builder, then that would be a different case. But from what I have done, like from what I have known in the market, is that Elementor and Divi is currently the two top most popular used web builders. Even for professional web builders, they are also using this because of how friendly it is. Yeah, I'm referring to both Divi and Elementor. Yeah. So if there's no other question, right, I'll continue on. So now I'll show you guys how to create a pricing table, the one here. So first I'll start off by creating, like selecting the module itself. So it's called pricing table. As you can see, I select it. And then this is how it looked like in default. So this is how it look like in default. So what you need to do, what I will be doing, is that I'll try to replicate something like this. So first I'll start off with, like I said, always start off with the content, because that's how you know that your alignment is off, or maybe the size of your text is not sufficient for the layout. So always start with the content in terms of like text, images, etc. Just add those in and then adjust those before you start adjusting your entire layout, because whatever design you make, right, if it doesn't fit your size of your font, like your font, the size of your text, the size of your image, then it will look really bad like as an outcome. So always start off with your content. So I'll first put in my content. So I'll follow the top starter. So you can see the title is now starter, and you can see that I didn't add a subtitle, so I'll remove the subtitle. So there won't be any subtitle. And then now I'll include.
I can't see whatever you are doing. Like the screen is on, like pause.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad. No, my bad. Sorry.
Problem,
Okay, so sorry. I'll repeat what I've just done. So okay, I actually didn't do much but I will just redo whatever I did. So okay, you guys can see what I'm doing right now, right? Okay, so I'll just add a new module which is called pricing tables, which is what I'm trying to showcase to you guys right now, which is this module. So I'm trying to achieve this effect, but the original or the default outlook of the entire module look like this. So what my goal now is actually to show you guys how to create something like this from this. So like I mentioned, like what I've just said just now, always make sure to key on content first, because if your layout doesn't fit your image or the size of your text, then there's no point even trying your design. So I shall start by inserting all the relevant content. So my first column is called starter, $25 per month. So in my settings, the title will be starter. I don't have a subtitle, so I remove this. Under my frequency is month, because as you can see, $25 per month. So the frequency is referring to the frequency of your payment. So per month, so I'll put per just month. So you can see it's now /month. The price is, as you can see on top, 25. And then I have a button called buy now. Okay, there's a thing that I would like to clarify with you guys, is that sometimes when you add the button text, right, you might not see the preview here. It's because there isn't a link. So this is something that Divi do in default, which is that you always include a link on your buy button. If not, you will not preview, because there's no point having a button if there's no a link behind it. So they won't be displaying a button that when you click, right, it brings the viewer to nowhere. So if you don't have a link, right, just just don't have to include the button. But for illustration purpose, I'll just include a random link so that the button will appear. As you can see, the moment I type www dot, the button appeared. So I'll just include the link of my page, and then there you go. So the moment the person click on buy now, it will bring them to this exact website. And for the module link, is basically the entire module. For example, I'm a visitor, I were to click the top or maybe click the middle part, it will bring me straight to the link that I insert here. So assuming I put this, the person will be brought straight to this website later on if he were to press any part of this entire module. And then I can select whether to show in a new tab or in the same window. So if I click new tab, the person will click here, you will adopt a new tab with this link. Yeah, so this is how it functions. So now that I've somewhat finished all my content, I will move on to the design. Like I mentioned multiple times, I will not key in the content one by one because it will be a bit time consuming. So like I said, this is for demonstration purpose. So I will just show you guys how to create the entire design. Okay, so the first part, they write, make this a table feature. So if I were to make this table feature, right, it will protrude out, like it will extend out to show that it's something that you recommend to the buyer. I mean, as a seller, I recommend this package to you. So if I were to click yes, you will notice that, like I said, it extends out as compared to the other table. So for now, I'll just leave it off. Later, I'll show it to you in terms of this table. So I'll continue with creating the entire design. Like I mentioned, always start with the text and the image, assuming you have an image. So for me, I only have text, so I'll start with the text. So I'll adjust the text accordingly. Poppins. The width, I'll put just bold. Okay, not bold, maybe semi-bold. Then the color that I used was black. So title text black. And then I can adjust the title size, maybe 25. Okay, so now I'll have to adjust the background. So for this, you have to actually go back to content. You have to insert white first, so that the entire module will be white. So it standardized the entire module to be white. So later on, when I remove this gray, right, the entire module should indicate white or should display white. Yeah. So now I'll move on to body text. Similarly, I'll adjust the font first. I'll keep it to regular. The color will be black. The font size, I'll leave it as 13. Okay, that's too small. Maybe 15. Okay, for the subtitle, right, I removed the subtitle, so there's nothing really for me to edit. So I'll just move on to the price. So this is the price area background, which is basically the entire rectangular area, what color I want. So as you can see at the top, I didn't add a color, so I'll leave it as white. The price tag color is red. The price text color is red. And then I use the same font, Poppins, but for the width, I'll be using bold. And the alignment will be middle. And then I will not adjust the size because it's somewhat similar to the one that I want, but you can adjust if you want. Maybe I'll make it bigger. Okay, for the border color, I'll leave it as white so that I can remove the border. As you can see, if you notice, the current border is like here. Can you see? The one that is surrounding the entire $25. So the moment I press white, it's removed, which is what I want to achieve. But then again, if you notice, I want to have an underline. So what I can do is actually just include an underline. Very simple. I can just go to the border select bottom border width, you just include 1. And then you have to adjust the color because previously I set it as white. So assuming I want it to be light gray, so I can just simply select a light gray. As you can see now, there's a line. Okay, now moving on, I can adjust the currency. So like I said, adjust the font first. The weight will be medium. Then it will also be red. Maybe 17. And now I can edit the button. I will first have to activate the custom style so that I can actually edit the button. So button text size, maybe I'll leave it 18. Okay, 18 is a bit too small, maybe 25. 20. And as you can see, the entire button is just red along with the button being, the text itself being white. So I'll just follow that. So button text color, white. Button background is red. I'll remove the border. So the border is removed. Adjust the font to Poppins. Maybe semi-bold. Then make it capital. And then maybe I want to have a button icon, which is an arrow. Adjust the button icon color, white. And maybe I want it to show, I want to show it without hover. So as you can see now, it's currently on hover. So assuming I don't hover across it, you can't see the arrow. But once I hover across the button, you can see. So let me make a slight difference, which is that I shall leave it on non-hover so I can actually see it directly. I will just directly adjust the padding of the button. So now you can see that the arrow is directly there, as compared to the previous one that doesn't have the arrow directly there. Okay, so now that I'm done, I will have to remove the color at the top. So this title text, color of background, leave it as white. And it should look like this. So like I mentioned, you don't have to replicate, like you don't have to repeat the entire step on and on. So what you can do is just adjust the difference. So as you can see, there's currently three tables. So what I can do is I go onto my module, remove the current existing default table title. I just remove it. And then can you see a double stacking icon? Just click it twice. You will have 3 rows of it. So all you need to do now is edit the middle part, because all this you need to do for the last part is only to edit the actual the content of it. So I'll start off with the third section, which is to actually edit, third column. I'll just edit the content to fit the one above. So enterprise, $100 per month. Then if you think that the title is too near to the top, right, like I said, you can actually edit the entire padding of the entire spacing. So I'll start with maybe 10. So you have to start with the, yeah, you have to edit from the column itself. So you can edit under pricing table settings, go into the column, under design, you should be able to find spacing. You can edit the spacing depending on how much do you think is needed to edit. So for example, I want 30 or maybe even 50. So this will be, 50 is way too much, maybe 20 should be sufficient. So it look like this now. So now back to editing the middle one. I want to edit so that it will be red in color. So it's premium. So I'll edit the content first. Premium, and also the price is $50 per month. Go ahead and change the price to $50 per month. Now I have to go back into design and now edit the background. So first I'll start with the title text, red background. And then the title text should be white now, premium. So similar for the subtitle. Oh, sorry, I mean the price tag. The price text area should be red, followed by white price tag. As you can see, there's a border. So later on, we will have to remove the border. So we have to scroll down to the border and then indicate red border. And you can see. So now our frequency is missing because our frequency have yet to change to white. So now we have to go into our frequency and currency, change it to white, and it will appear here. So similarly for this, maybe you want to include a spacing, you can scroll all the way down to spacing, and then change the padding to 20 at the top. Yep, and it'll be a similar size. And maybe 20 at the bottom also, if you feel like it's too near to the bottom. I'll leave it like this for now, and then I'll go ahead and edit the bottom part too. So that will be the body text. Go ahead to the body text. And then you can go to the background, change it to white. Change the red, sorry. Sorry, I haven't changed the body text color. And then now we are just left with the button itself. So going back to the design, since we are here, we can just scroll it down to the button and then slightly make adjustments to the button. So the button is color should be white. And then the text should be red. And there shouldn't be a border, so then the button icon should also be white. Sorry, should also be red. There you go. It's there. Yep, and it should be a replica of the top. Yep. As you notice, right, there look like a small radius here, right? Like I mentioned, if you have made changes to the pricing table, like I have included a 0 radius, right? And it doesn't make changes, right? It's because sometimes the model itself doesn't load the default settings. So you might have to either refresh the page or simply just refresh the model itself later on. So now, as you can see, once I refresh it by adding a 0, right, it automatically make the border sharper. So now I'm just left with editing the first one, include a padding of 20 pixels. Go straight to design, scroll down, under border, under spacing, sorry, add 20 pixels off. And there you go. We have completed the we have completed the entire pricing table. So of course you can actually adjust this based on your creativity lah. If you want to change this, etc. And also, like I mentioned, you can also make use of make this featured settings under layout. You can see make this table featured, so you can see that it's now protruding out. So assuming that your top selling package is premium, you can actually select feature this, and then it will be protruding out. So now that it look a bit more like this is the one that is highly recommended for them. So yeah, so this is how you can actually play around with the pricing table. So as you can see, right, it looked very different from how it looked like earlier on. So if I were to now select create a new pricing table, search for pricing table, you'll see that it looked extremely different. So like I said, it depends on your creativity and of course how familiar you are with the settings itself. So this is something you can play around with. Yeah. So do you guys have any questions regarding this? Like regarding making a pricing table? Is it a bit too confusing for you guys, or do you find whatever I just taught quite understandable for you? Hello, is anyone there?
Yeah, so far it's okay.
Okay, so because I would have to cover Google Ads soon, so I will briefly bring you through another plugin. I would say it's an add-on on top of DV. And for those of you who are exploring DV for the next few months, you might want to consider using this because first of all, it's I would say it's semi-free because it has 40 over features. But then again, because if you're not a premium user, you have access to only 10 features. So you can make very good use of 10 features. So I'll give you examples of some of the features that are free. For example, this one. This is called the Facebook newsfeed. So basically it's a module that actually displays your Facebook newsfeed on your website. The downside to it is that because you have to load content from another platform, which is Facebook, it will take some time to load your page. So for those of you who want to try using this, right, I would highly recommend you to use it wisely because I tried it myself and I realized it caused the page to load very, very slowly. And on the right, you can see is basically something similar, but it's called the Supreme Facebook Comments. So it's basically extract a list of comments from your Facebook account. So it's a great idea to put it side by side if you plan on including your social media platform onto your website itself. And then going down, you can see that there's a button. So the button on this DV Supreme, right? Yeah, so I'll show you guys what I'm talking about right now, like the plugin basically. After showing you guys what it's capable of, I'll briefly talk about what are the features that it actually offer. So like I mentioned like a few minutes ago, it only offer 10 plus free features for free users. So you won't be expecting to see a lot of different like I said, a lot of different features. Originally it's 40 plus, but because if you're a free user, you have access to 10 plus. So this is the one I'm talking about, DeFi Supreme. So I will show you guys the website on DeFi Supreme so that you can actually take a look. So if you scroll down Supreme.com, you can see these are a whole list of features that they offer on top of your DV builder itself. But like I said, For free users, there's only 10, if I'm not wrong, it's 10 to 12, I guess. 12 free features. And you can see it by clicking on the modules. So take for example, I would like to add a new module, right? So I'll scroll down. And then assuming I want to add a new module, I'll click the plus button. And then I will not add a module because I'm just trying to show you guys where you can find the list of free features. So assuming you have it installed in your account, you will be able to see purple colored modules which are also in your list of modules under DV Builder. You can see here are the features that are free for you to use. They are, as you can see, the starting of the name of the module is called Supreme. So it's actually made, or I would say developed by Supreme DV. So they are the developers of this. They are called DV Supreme. DV Supreme. They are the developers of this plugin, and yeah, they actually offer quite a good number of free add-ons for your DV Builder. So on this page, right, I actually displayed some of the useful modules. Like I mentioned, the Facebook newsfeed, the Facebook comments, the button. Okay, honestly, I feel like the button is not really much of a difference because after I use it myself, I actually realized that the only add-on they had, or the only development they did, was to actually add a separator between a set of buttons. So as you can see, there's a pair of buttons here, right? If you take a close look at it, right, there's actually a line in between. So that's one way of adding a divider. So that's something that you can't do previously, but you can do it now with DV Supreme. And another cool add-on I feel is this, the typing title, which is extremely cool for, at least for me. I find it really useful. So you can see if I were to go into the page, you'll be able to see a typing title. Design your, sorry. Or I just proved my point that having the Facebook is a bit laggy. So you can see that the Facebook actually take very long to load. So like I said, use it wisely. Yeah. So here's my point. The typing title is actually really cool because it actually shows a very like interactive website. Okay, so the other module that I will recommend to you guys is actually the before after image. So it's actually quite simple. You just basically add a module, right? You just find the Supreme before and after image. Here. You just select that. Then after that, you just include two images. One as the before image, the second one as the after image, and then you just save. So how it look like is basically something like this. This is how the before and after look like. So it's not only just a divider, but it actually gives you the option of dragging it around. As you can see, it actually gives you the really cool effect. Similarly, you can make it a vertical effect. So the pulling effect will be up down instead of left right. So you can see that this image is actually really cool. So it's actually very useful for like product selling, or even you want to sell a t-shirt and the pants, you can actually do this. Yeah. Or for example, your clothes is for both genders. You can actually use something like this to display the effect. It can be used for all sorts of ideas. And for the last one is actually the image pivot effect. So for DV Supreme, right, they actually allow us to pivot our image significantly different from the DV itself. So if you can see, right, I opened the module called Supreme Image. So in this module itself, you can see that under the content, they have this tab called Transfer and Rotation. Transform and Rotation. So it actually allows you to pivot your image to a certain extent. So it actually can be used for many like different layout ideas. For example, you want your image to overlap to another image. You want your image to protrude out of the page, or you want your image to be slightly like 3D, pointing 3D in terms of the user perspective. So that's something you can play around with. But I will not recommend you to use it too aggressively, because having too much of pivot image on your website will be a bit too visually overwhelming. So that's something you might want to take note of. I will not be showing much illustration on this add-on, because this DV Supreme add-on is very quite straightforward, I would say, and they actually provide tutorial on both YouTube and their website. So for those of you who are interested to try out their modules or their features, right, you can go ahead to dvsupreme.com, and then under their tech features, you can actually see each and every feature. But like I mentioned, if you don't have the pro version, just stick to the 12 free features that they actually offer to you. Yeah. So before I end off, right, I would like to once again talk about 2 points. One is the mobile usability and other useful plugins that you might consider downloading or using. But for most of you, right, I don't think you will have like sufficient time to actually interact with some of the plugins, because some of the plugins are very demanding in terms of skills, and it requires some time to actually understand their configuration and settings. So I'll go ahead with the mobile usability first. So usability is actually quite simple. So assuming I'm at the service page again, the page where I show you guys how to edit your uh, pricing tables and blurb, right? You can see that there's a 3 dot here on the DV builder. You click on that. On the extreme left, you'll see a set of tools in the dark gray bar. You can see a symbol of a phone, and then as you can see, as I hover over it, it's called phone view. Click on that. You can see that your whole entire website is being divided into, not really divided, but reformatted into a phone point of view, of the phone perspective. So take for example, if I hover across this, you will see 70 pixels. So this is a configuration or a setting done by me, because I wanted this to have a 70 pixel gap on the desktop version, which in other words means that I want my viewers who are visiting my website on a desktop to have a 70 pixels gap on the top of this paragraph. But then again, on the mobile phone, as you can see, it's not really mobile friendly, because you'll see a very big gap on your mobile when you view my website. So how should I go about editing this? I will go into the settings. Under design, I will find the spacing, right? Because the 70 pixels is a type of spacing. So how can I remove this? Very simple. If you hover across your margin, the word margin, you can see a phone icon. Click on that. You will now see there's 3 options: desktop, tablet, phone. So it actually allows you to edit this across 3 different type of devices. So assuming I want it to be 0 on my phone device, you will see that it closes up. I can even make it a negative pixel, for example, negative 10. It will move slightly higher. I can close up gaps on the phone, so that it will be more mobile friendly when a mobile user views my page. So this is how you can actually edit your entire page so that it fits the perspective of a mobile user. So similarly for other settings, for example, I want to adjust paddings, I can click on the phone symbol, I can edit it. Similarly for other tabs, for example, my text, I can go under text, under font size, take for example font size. You hover your mouse across font size, click on the mobile symbol, make the font size smaller, 12 pixels. So now on the mobile phone, when I view my page, my pixels on my text will be 12 rather than 14, which is what I set for my desktop. You don't have to worry, whatever you set on your mobile settings, right? When you go back to your desktop version, the original settings will be still there. It will be still intact. As you can see, when I click desktop, the pixel is still 14. And if you take a close look at it, it's actually still the original size. So this is how you can actually edit your entire website so that it fits the mobile users, or it makes the mobile users more make it more friendly for the mobile users. Yeah, this is something you might want to take into consideration when you are doing your website. I will just go ahead and save this, and then now I will just bring your attention to the last part of my web building, which is the useful plugins. So what are the useful plugins I'll recommend, right? Is first of all, the Yoast SEO. So Yoast SEO, right, is something that you can use to actually download, not really download, sorry. You can manage your data or analyze your performance of your website. So by installing the Yoast SEO, by the way, this plugin is free. You can actually monitor your website traffic, and also to see whether your website is clean in terms of the viewership. Like it will actually indicate to you if there's too much content or there's an overwhelming of information on a certain page in terms of the number of text, number of words, or the word count on a certain page is exceeding average amount. They will actually inform you. Yeah. Uh, but like I said, depending on your choice of design and of course the field you're working in. Take for example, I'm working in a field where I'm providing information as the core service. Of course, my page will be filled with information. So something like this might not be suitable because it might tell you that your page is overwhelmed with information, but you have no choice because you're selling information. So you have to showcase to your customers that you do have the information required for them to purchase the service from you. So that's something to take into account. Next is WooCommerce. I believe Andrew mentioned this to you guys before. It's a e-commerce shopping plugin whereby you can actually have an online store on your website. Yeah, and the next one will be the WordPress Defender. So it's basically a defender for your WordPress security. Yeah. So it actually monitors like many aspects of it. For example, cyber attacks, etc., firewall, IP address getting hacked, or maybe someone is trying to extract or intercept data on your website, or even doing illegal activities on your website, or even trying multiple attempts to log into your WordPress, something like that. So it actually it will generate a report for you on certain basis depending on your settings, like how frequent you want the report to be generated, and then from there you can actually evaluate it. You can evaluate your security status of your website and your WordPress. Next one is Ultimate Member. So as you can somewhat see from the plugin name itself, it's actually a form of membership plugin. It is also free, and you can use it to actually create rankings on your website. For example, you can create VIPs, you can create participants, you can create normal members. So all this, right, you can actually uh, make it so that only certain users or certain ranks are able to view certain content on your website. They are only limited to their roles. So take for example, I'm a VIP user. I have more information or more resources available to me when I access your website as a VIP user. As compared to a normal user or maybe a free user, I am only able to access free resources that are offered to free users, something like that. So this is something that is, like I said, somewhat hard to set up, similar to WooCommerce. You might need some time to actually understand the features. And for the last one is Monster Insights. This is somewhat similar to Defender. Um, it actually monitors and analyzes certain things, but the difference between this and the Defender security is that Monster Insights also offer tracking services. In other words, they actually help you to track the conversion and maybe even um, viewership on your website. So it actually works more of like a analysis rather than just a security plugin. So the plus point about this is that Monster Insights work very well with Google Ads. So for those of you who are planning to have these two things interact with each other, it's actually a very useful tool. As for whether Monster Insight is free, right? I'm still not quite sure because I'm not able to find a free version. So I'm currently not really clear whether Monster Insight is a free or paid version, or paid in plugin, I mean. Okay, sorry for rushing through the plugins because I will have to start on Google Ads. So before I continue, I will take a 5-minute break because yeah, I think the information I provided is a bit too overwhelming. So